Hello, everybody. Time to sneeze live. Welcome. Welcome to Soundbooth Theater Live Cold Reads, where I try to give you a disease immediately upon arrival. I hope you guys are having a good morning so far. I'm really excited to get started on Chapter 2 of Monster Hunt NYC 3. It is, if for those of you who don't know, this is basically our magnum opus. Um, well, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's more like just kind of our first big push into true audio drama, where we're doing full sound effects and music. It is just me and Annie in the cast. But I think Annie does a great job of filling out all the characters that need to be filled out on her end. And I'm used to sounding like a cast anyway. But yeah, so this is part of the Proxima Galaxy. Harmon Cooper's basically, it's not quite VR. It's Harmon Cooper's dream dream video game world, where basically the technology takes advantage of your dream state in order to create the experiences that you're in. So, if you there's tons of other books in the Proxima Galaxy that Soundbooth Theater has done. The first one we did was the feedback loop. And then the next one we did was Fantasy Online, which actually is going to get a book 4 very soon. I'm thinking beginning of next year. We're going to box set books 1 and 2 together, and then books 3 and 4. So when books 3 and 4 come out, 4 is going to be new. But books 1 through 3 are already out there. And actually in Monster Hunt, there's a couple characters, Spew Gorge and Hiccup. They're from Fantasy Online, and then in The Last Warrior of Unagaia, that's another Proxima Galaxy book, and that was actually the very first Soundbooth Theater audiobook. The Last Warrior of Unagaia, the very first one with Annie Ellicott featured in it. Let's see, what else? I think the last one besides Monster Hunt would be Cherry Blossom Girls. I'm pretty sure that one has something to do with the Proxima Galaxy, but it's definitely more peripheral to the rest of the universe. It's actually more of stuff that happens in world instead of in the virtual world. So, anyway, be sure to check out all the links in the description below. You'll see you can buy Monster Hunt NYC 1 from us from our website, soundbooththeater.com. That's available for just $7.99. Like I said, full music and sound effects. Annie and I worked our asses off, writing, composing, playing the music, and it was our first collaboration with our current lead composer, Aaron J. Morton, as well. So, yeah, you should go check that out if you haven't already discovered this series. Book 2 is on Audible, but when we release Book 3, we're releasing it on our platform first, and then we're going to re-release Book 2 on our platform, and there will be a big sale, and it'll be great. So, let me go get my glasses cleaner stuff, and I'll be ready to go. Brings a new meaning to cold reads. That's right. That's correct. One thing that I'm doing differently today, or in this particular cold read series for Monster Hunt, is you're gonna see me actually bring my DAW up. You're gonna see me screen share that, and I'm actually gonna be taking notes for the sound effects as I go along. The way I do that is by creating MIDI tracks in Ableton, and those MIDI tracks, because I can just spawn them and I don't have to record or anything to them, I just use them as labels, and I use them to communicate with Ahmed, our lead engineer, saying, hey, this is where we need sound effects, this is where we need this particular sound effect. And you'll also see me basically cut the script down just a little bit, right? Um, a lot of dialogue tags are going to be removed. There's going to be some thought put into, hey, maybe we don't need this particular paragraph or this particular sentence. We can just use sound to illustrate it. Because it'll be talking about the sound. Or, sometimes there's just direction for, like, when you're reading a book and the author tells you, oh, this character's moving this way, this character's expressing themselves this way, we can get rid of a lot of that stuff because we're just going to act it out. And it makes it a smoother, more immersive experience when we do it that way. First, there's something special about the very first sip of coffee in the morning. It's like, bing! It's kind of weird how energizing just that little sip is. It's almost like it's probably psychosomatic. It's probably like your body going, "Oh, I remember this stuff. Oh, we're in for a treat." Oh, man. Oh, that feels good. Okay. So here goes. This is Ableton Live. And I will start narrating now. I gotta go dig it up. Here we go. So chapter 1 was already 10% in. This book moves pretty quick. Although today, these cold reads, I'm going to be moving a bit slower than I usually do because I'm going to be taking notes, because I'm going to be thinking about things and, asking Harmon questions sometimes. All right, here goes. Chapter 2. New dojo, new me. What a hotel. Some New Yorkers traveled a lot. Others never left the city. I fit into the latter crowd, only taking a trip or two upstate. This is another interesting audiobook for me because I'm narrating first person in my own voice, which I don't do very often at all. Usually if it's first person, I'm going to change my voice somehow because I recognize that my particular voice doesn't fit most characters. But this guy's kind of a young musician. I'm not young anymore, but I sound kind of young. He's kind of gentle. My voice can work for this. I fit into the latter crowd, only taking a trip or two upstate when I was a child, once playing a show with the Lennons in Hamden, Connecticut, and of course trips to Hoboken and Philly from time to time. But not far, which meant that I hadn't stayed in many hotels in my life. Why stay in a hotel when you have a perfectly decent bed in one of the 5 boroughs? Even if there was a pipe that cut through the room. The place that Iris and I had checked into was overwhelming, the interior completely white in a way that reminded me of the top room of the steeple. There was a wall of mirrored holoscreens in the middle of the lobby, and as we approached them, one recognized my life chip, an elevator door opening on the right. I'm not sure how to say that right. There was a wall of mirrored holoscreens in the middle of the lobby, and as we approached them, one recognized my life chip, an elevator door opening on the right. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. Ambience. Fancy hotel lobby. Stretch that out. An elevator door opening on the right. And so I'm using this orange sound effects track, and I'm not bothering to label it because what that means is Ahmed is going to listen to what's there and illustrate what's there. I'll label it if I want something more specific than that. So cool, Iris said as we stepped into the elevator, which immediately took us to the 38th floor. The doors shut, and a soothing voice thanked us for visiting the hotel. What is this place called? It doesn't say. So I think speaker would be good. Let's tie it to this quick key. And let's get a chorus on here. Copy that. Bring that over here. Put it on nice TV, not answering machine. Paste that in. Doom. There we go. Let's see. Let's look up a fancy hotel on the internet. Hey, what's up, Josh? Nicest hotel, New York. Gramercy Park Hotel. I stayed there. That was nice. Let's see. Times Square Edition. Now, wait a minute. He said, get back. Get back over there. He said, on 42nd Street with views of the financial district. Let's see. Second escape room. Which way is the financial district? I'm going to guess it's looking west. I'm going to say the Times Square Edition. All right. Welcome to the Times Square Edition. Welcome to the Times Square Edition. We hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Times Square Edition. Thank you for patronizing the Times Square Edition. We hope you enjoy your stay. Just basically want to be as snooty as fucking possible. And a soothing voice thanked us for visiting the Times Square Edition. We hope you enjoy your stay. Soothing voice, yeah. This was followed by what reminded me of saloon music, as if Scott Joplin was playing in a basement, his music piped directly into the elevator. This was followed by what reminded me of saloon music, as if Scott Joplin was playing in a basement, his music piped directly into the elevator. A message appeared on my pane of vision indicating that a restaurant was located on the second floor, and reminding me that if I needed to speak to a receptionist, I would also find them on the very same floor. Let's try that again. A message appeared on my pane of vision indicating that a restaurant was located on the second floor, and reminding me that if I needed to speak to a receptionist, I would also find them on the very same floor. There we go. A message appeared on my... The message then went over hotel policies and procedures, including our checkout time and breakfast hours, a meal which was definitely not complimentary. The message then went over hotel policies and procedures, including our checkout time and breakfast hours, a meal which was definitely not complimentary. The theme of the hotel was apparently the color white, the walls and whitewashed oak wood floors making the space feel like we were walking through a music video set. We eventually found our room, the door clicking open as soon as I approached it. "Holy crap," Iris said as she took in the space, bringing her hands to her mouth. Iris took in the space, bringing her hands to her mouth. Seriously. I stopped dead in my tracks. This is sick! The room had purple carpet that contrasted heavily with its single white wall. The rest of the walls were made of glass, including the wall that faced the bathroom. There were 2 beds in the center of the space, each with purple side rails, NV visors and That's unacceptable. Let's undo that and that. NV visors and haptic gloves were hooked to each of the beds, arranged in a... NV visors and haptic gloves were hooked to each of the beds, arranged in a... NV visors and haptic gloves were hooked to each of the beds, arranged in a way that was pleasant to the eye. Look at this view! I came to the glass. I went to the glass, looking out over the city. We were facing toward the financial district, and even though there were a few buildings in the way, I could see the towering skyscrapers on the horizon, mentally reliving in... And even though there were a few buildings in the way, we were facing toward the financial district, and even though there were a few buildings in the way, I could see the towering skyscrapers on the horizon, mentally reliving in that instant all the trips I had taken between Midtown and downtown. Man. Okay, sorry about that. No Discord this time because I'm broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Maybe French accent would have been more appropriate. I don't know. Mentally reliving in that instant all the trips I had taken between Midtown and downtown. There was a time, a few years back, when I had a few gigs in Harlem, and since I was working in Union Square, I would sometimes start my day off in the financial There was a time, a few years back, when I had a few gigs in Harlem, and since I was working in Union Square, I would sometimes start my day off in the financial district just to walk around for a bit, then Union, sometimes the East Village for an early dinner, then the gig. But to see New York like this... I'm calling the Huntresses. They will definitely want to see this. What about getting some food first, and then just logging in and seeing them there? She considered this for a moment. It would be nice not to share this view for a bit. Or deal with Aya.
I'm sure she'll dig this space too. But food, yes to food. I'm definitely hungry. Approaching hangry.
Scary.
You'd better believe it.
And after, I want to see what you've done with the dojo.
Her eyes lit up. It's been such a roller coaster day that I'd forgotten about that part. You're going to freaking love it.
I'm sure I will.
It totally screams Iris.
She wiggled her nose at me.
But anyway, what do you want to eat?
I took a look around the space. Why does being in this room make me want to eat sushi? Am I crazy?
Crazy rich? Yes, I believe that applies to our current version of Chase.
Iris smirked. I think I'm suffering from... Is there a term for someone who suddenly gets a lot of money and just blows it on stuff?
I think there's an old term for that.
Iris's pupils dilated behind her glasses.
Hood rich? That's one way to put it.
New money?
That works too.
We should spoil ourselves tonight and discuss how we should handle the rest of this money later. I still intended to give Iris half of it.
Or we could just get sushi and go from there.
She patted her stomach.
You're being hungry.
Okay, let's see here. I think, have I skipped any sound effects? Nope, this has all just been conversation, I'm pretty sure. I think if Annie pats her stomach, people will understand what it is.
You're being hungry.
You're being hungry.
Your being hungry has made me hungry.
Iris found a place and sent it to me over iNet with a note about what I should order. I placed the order, the sushi costing about $250 in the end, and while we waited, Iris and I reminisced about some of the gigs we had played as the Lennons. Let's try that again. Iris found a place and sent it to me over iNet with a note about what I should order. I placed the order, the sushi costing about $250 in the end, and while we waited, Iris and I reminisced about some of the gigs we had played as the Lennons. With a note about what I should order.
Hungry.
Iris found a place and sent it to me over. Have you had any contact with Thad? Iris was on her bed now, facing me, her shoes off, looking cute as ever in her tights, black shorts, and faded Mither Fickers t-shirt. Oh, I wish I was wearing my Mither Fickers t-shirt.
He's trying to get clean. That's all I know.
Good. I still wasn't over the fact that our former lead singer had broken our instruments, his egotistical rage putting the dagger in the Lennons. I also couldn't forget punching him and having to pay that fine. Damn, was that expensive. At least at the time. And now? Is this how it feels to be rich? To know that a simple fine, an accident, or anything else that came up would do little or no damage to my finances? It was just so hard to process. All of it. And this was sort of why I was glad to be in a hotel with Iris, to be in an... And this was sort of why I was glad to be in a hotel with Iris, to be in an enclosed space. And this was sort of why I was glad to be in a hotel with Iris, to be in an enclosed space where the only place I could spend money would be over iNet.
I just needed a moment to process these funds, to figure out what needed to be done with them. And I was definitely ready for a distraction. I'm excited to log in, I told her after another long gaze out at the city.
You are?
You seem to keep avoiding it. No, it's just been a wild day. I'm actually excited to see what you did with the place. I'm actually excited to see what you did with the place. It's not the same as before. I didn't expect it to be. Plus, we have to hop on our lightning horses and get over to Kingdom Sana. We have a gig.
Lightning steeds!
Exactly. You were saying earlier that you had an idea on how we could deal with William. Care to expand upon that idea? We do have 2 trolls, don't we? You mean Mitchell and Snoogles? Yep. I put them back at the front in a guard tower this time. A high one, too. I told you about the serpent, right? Serpent? You did not. Well, I'll save that for when we log in. But back to the trolls. What could you possibly have planned for the trolls? Here's the thing. I'm not really a get revenge type of guy, as you probably know by now. I don't care to raid William's dojo, and while I could use some of our growing influence in Kingdom Lume to make trouble for them, I don't want to do that either. Trouble for them? I don't want to do that either. Trouble for them? I don't want to do that either. Trouble for them? I don't want to do that either. Then what do you want to do? What anyone would do this close to the 22nd century? Stop being so vague. Just trust me. Just trust me. Once we log in, I'll put the pieces in motion. Then we'll get to the gig in Kingdom Sana. I'm sure Dalton will be waiting for us, since I promised the huntresses that we would go shopping. In Sana, we can get a hotel or some. Since I promised the huntresses that we would go shopping in Sana, we can get a hotel or something for the night. I'm pretty sure Dalton said we had a gig in Ignis coming up, and didn't Spew Gorge say his uncle was there? I recalled the goblin and his fashionable haircut and high-pitched voice. He was a bit unconventional as a member of our dojo, but he was scrappy and good with a dagger. Did he? I seem to remember him saying that. Anyway, I will get all this sorted out once we log in. But for now, just trust that I have a plan. Oh, and tomorrow, definitely before you go to your right... and tomorrow, definitely before you go to your night class, we should hit a music store. That sounds like a bad idea, especially if you're planning to buy every instrument in the store. Who, me? Why would I want a bunch of starter instruments? You're starting to sound like Thad. Oh, okay, I'd better dial it back then. But to answer your question, I figured we would get your Juno 60 fixed up, possibly some new keys. No, definitely some new keys. Yes, we're going on a shopping spree. This money is going to burn a hole in your pocket, isn't it? I'm going to stay balanced about it, and I've already decided to sell the property in Everlife anyway. What do we want with the steeple? She considered this for a moment, her eyes indicating to me that she was researching Proxima Galaxy housing prices over iNet. You aren't wrong there. I turned and looked at Iris, smiling at her. I now sat with a pillow behind my head, leaning against the backboard. I'm serious about splitting this money. I couldn't have done this without you. Chase. Let's just get it all taken care of and make it work. Why not? What's the point of having this much money? It's more than I could ever spend. Well, unless I went on a rare instrument shopping spree. But I don't plan to do that. I do need to upgrade a few things, obviously, and I'll probably get a new place to live. Aw, you're leaving Alex? But he's such a staple in your life. Actually, he could probably come with me. The next place I get will definitely be bigger. Maybe we could move in together. Iris's words. The words left Iris's lips before she could really think them through. This was apparent in the way that she cleared her throat and looked away from me, now staring out at the city again. Maybe we could move in together. The words left Iris's lips before she could really think them through. I think that would be awesome. Iris went to the window and took a seat before it, her legs crossed under her body. I watched her for a moment, using iNet to dim the lights so that we could enjoy the view. I watched her for a moment, using iNet to dim the lights so that we could enjoy the view. Red and blue lights flashed across the room as an Arrows fire truck sped by, its siren droning on for a moment as it lowered somewhere near 43rd Street. A message asked me if I would like to lower the blinds, showing me a graphic on how I would go about doing that manually, if I wanted. We probably wouldn't lower the blinds. It wasn't like we were planning to get busy or anything tonight. Well, I wasn't. Not that I would push back if it happened, but the thought hadn't really crossed my mind. I could see the reflection of the sun on a building adjacent to ours, the orange orb with hints of pink in it reflecting off the mirrored glass. It reminded me of the light that moved down the steeple, the 7 colors that related to the chakra system, unlocked by music. What were the odds? This is awesome. This is awesome, Iris said as I joined her. It is. What a day. And our day has just started. I hope you like what I've done with the dojo. I'm sure I will. Whew. The famous Brian Eno Proxima tone played, letting me know that the login process had begun. I was strapped in now, my belly full of sushi, the NV visor on my head, haptic gloves on my hands. Even cooler, the bed itself was rigged for Proxima haptic response, allowing for an even more immersive experience. As soon as my form started to take shape, the Alpha Duo stats flashed, along with Aya and Lady C's quick glance skill sheets. To see New York like this. I'm calling the Huntresses. At this view. Took in the space, bringing her hands to her mouth. Seriously. The message then went over hotel policies and procedures. Ours, a meal with... The theme of the hotel was apparently the color white, the walls and... We eventually found our room, the door clicking open as soon as I approached it. Okay. Chase Knowles, Iris Snout, Alpha Duo, Level 4. Current capture, 17. Tokens, 57. Tokens to next level, 30. Aya Duchig, Level 13. HP, 1,634. Mana, 0. Attack, 299. Defense, 168. Magic defense, 112. Luck, 16. Lady Cassandra, Level 12. HP, 1,228. Mana, 292. Attack, 197. Defense, 209. Magic defense, 241. Luck, 11. But I was too distracted by what I saw before me to really pay much attention to our stats, and I flat out ignored the flashing banking information. I didn't care about the money any longer, and we had some serious real estate as a possible retirement plan. I really wasn't worried. But I was impressed by what Iris had put together. The layout was similar to what it had been before. The entrance, followed by the main dojo, followed by the field with 2 cabins for the huntresses, followed by the meadow. The only thing different was that everything Iris had chosen had a sleek, modern feel to it. Not that we were really going for a medieval feel earlier, but it had sort of had... Not that we were really going for a medieval feel earlier, but it had sort of had one, even with... Not that we were really going for a medieval feel earlier, but it had sort of had one, even with the renovations we had made on the main dojo. But not anymore. The main dojo looked like it was styled after the Guggenheim, and even the 2 cabins were designed in a way that was avant-garde, sleek, cylindrical. "Do you like it?" A smile beamed across Iris's face. I noticed a new building adjacent to the cabins. I hadn't seen it before. The building's black paint making it blend in with the darkened sky, the Proxima Borealis above us, and the steeple in the distance. I hadn't seen it before. The building's black paint making it blend in with the darkened sky, the Proxima Borealis above us, and the steeple in the distance, its top currently blue. I love it. I turned to the new building. And damn, was that some good sushi at the hotel. Did I already say that? You did. He's not even going to say hi, is he? The Thulian stood next to Iris now, her hat pulled down so it covered one of her eyes. True to form, she was striking a cool pose, her left hip jutting out to the side, her buster sword hanging off to the right.
He's just looking around the place,
Lady C said. Lady C was on the other side of Iris in her armor, both swords sheathed at her sides. The Matikan approached me casually, and when she was just a few feet away, she ran forward and jumped into my arms, taking me off guard and bringing me to the ground.
Place.
Lady C was on the other side of Iris in her armor, both swords sheathed at her sides. few feet away, she ran forward and jumped into my arms, taking me off guard and bringing me to the ground.
Ow!
And bringing me to the ground.
Ow! 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 Attack! Yeah!
Aya also dogpiled on top of me. Aya also dogpiled on top of me.
Hey! Hey!
I started to say as a few of the mythcrea appeared. There was Fujin, Magnus, Ophelia, Sun Wukong, some of our first captures. All were watching me struggle to get the huntresses off me while Iris laughed, her cat, Garfield, now perched on her shoulder. Alright, let's just have... now perched on her shoulder. There we go. Just left some notes for Annie and for Ahmed to, make some noises here like they're horsing around. She's going to ad-lib some, Lady C and Aya joking around and stuff. Up of me. As a few of the mythcrea appeared. Shoulder. Some of our mythcrea were missing, but I did see the newest one we had captured, the one that had gotten us kicked out of the Mood Fabric store. Brigantia had an uncertain look on her face, something totally justified by the fact that we had just arrived and were already horsing around.
Get off of me!
I pushed Aya aside. She slapped me in the face. Aya aside.
Ow!
She slapped me in the face. Minus 56 HP.
Harder. 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 Harder.
She gave me a punch to the gut.
Ooh.
She slapped me in the face. Minus 90 HP. Lady C continued to laugh as she tickled me, accidentally kneeing me in the groin. Minus 245 HP.
Critical hit!
Fuck! I'll change the order of this real quick. Accidentally kneeing me in the groin. Fuck! Fuck! Accidentally kneeing me in the groin. Fuck! The two huntresses finally let up. Finally let up.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Come on, Iris said as she helped me to my feet.
Oh, she need me in the...
I saw. You two need to play nice with Chase. But Chase doesn't play nice with us. He gets a fancy hotel in New York, and he doesn't even invite us to check it out. Us to check it out.
How did you know I got a hotel?
You mentioned it to Iris, and something else called sushi. Aya turned to her cabin with a playful huff. Anyway, you know where to find me. I'm sure you'll show us the place at some point. And I'm sorry for tickling you. I just felt like playing around. She stood in front of me now, cute as the first day that I met her, back when I first opened the app and discovered the Matikans sitting on the ground and reading a book. And now I was a millionaire? What a turn of events. Excuse me. Yeah, 5 years. Holy shit, it's been 5 years since Fantasy Online 3. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, we're coming back to it. Why don't I give you a tour? Iris asked. Iris led me over to the black building. She opened the door and I peeked inside to see some amplifiers, random instruments, a PA system, and a small stage. Her cat hopped off her shoulder and found a nook in the corner of the room to cuddle up. Forgot to do ambience here. Iris led me over to the black building. This is awesome! I took in the space, noticing how she had arranged instruments on the walls. You like it? And we can add a recording studio in here as well, right? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, but why wouldn't we be able to record music inside the Proxima Galaxy? I'm sure we can. Iris said, as Lady C also stepped inside. Are you going to play me a song now, Chase? Lady C dropped her hand on my shoulder. I
was wondering when you two would appear. I was wondering when you two would appear.
Dalton the Ink Shadow rose out of the ground, a big grin on his face. His form wavered for a moment, and as it did, I could see the old man inside his translucent body. Oops. Okay, let's try that one more time. Dalton rising up out of the ground. Dalton the Ink Shadow rose out of the ground, a big grin on his face. His form wavered for a moment, and as it did, I could see the old man inside his translucent body.
We have a gig tonight. You know that, right? We have a gig tonight. You know that, right?
In Kingdom Sana, I know. That's why we're here.
That should be why we are there,
he told me in his smoky voice. The door kicked open, and Spew Gorge the Goblin walked in with a small black suitcase. The door kicked open, and Spew Gorge the Goblin walked in with a small black suitcase.
Fick me! I heard we were going to Kingdom Sana tonight, so I figured we could stop at some point in Kingdom Ignis. Fick me! I heard we were going to Kingdom... Fick me! I heard we were going to Kingdom Sana tonight, so I figured we could stop at some point in Kingdom Ignis and visit my fickin' relative. Yeah. Fick. Why am I the only one that's packed?
The goblin had a different hairstyle now, braided on the sides, with strands of turquoise in it. I wondered for a moment how he knew we were planning to stay overnight in Kingdom Sana, but I figured he had probably heard it from Aya, or possibly Lady C.
Musicians travel light. At least the good ones.
It was much easier to move gear in the Proxima Galaxy. I was aware that I could simply access it through my inventory list. But old habits were hard to bury, so I equipped my bass, the one made of blonde wood that we'd picked up at Dirty Dave's musical instrument emporium, and started putting it in its case.
Who else is coming with us?
Iris asked as she packed up her ukulele.
Me, you, the Ficken Ink Shadow, the Thulian. She's a bully, but I don't let it get to me. The Matikan. I think that's it.
I will be going as well. 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 One of the amplifiers said, scaring the holy shit out of Spew Gorge. He pulled out a jagged dagger and dropped his luggage. Relax, Goblin, the amplifier said, as she began to morph into the dark-skinned shifter known as Altsoba.
Fick!
Spew Gorge mumbled as he got some money. Spew Gorge got some money out of his pocket and handed it to her.
That's pretty ficked up of you.
What's this about? Altsoba shrugged. We made a bet, and the goblin lost.
The goblin has a fickin' name. Why is this so hard for people?
What kind of bet? I asked, as I finished packing my base. It disappeared instantly, straight to my list. Damn, I wish I could do that in the real world.
Fick!
Spew Gorge got some money out of his pocket and handed it to her.
That's pretty ficked up.
Relax, the amplifier said, as she began to morph into the dark-skinned shifter known as Altsoba. Could do that in the real world? I asked, as I finished packing my base. It disappeared instantly, straight to my list. Damn, I wish I could do... Damn, I wish I could do that in the real world. Damn, I wished I could do that in the real world. I bet him that I could scare him, she said, her head now cocked in the goblin's direction. He didn't believe me, and now we're here.
Disguising yourself as a fickin' speaker. Fick! That's dirty.
I smiled at the two of them. Okay, so to recap, we're going to Kingdom Sana now. Spew Gorge, Lady C, Iris, me, Dalton, Aya, and Altsoba are all coming, right?
Enough with the roll call,
Dalton said.
We've got to get this gig. We've got to get to this gig, you dig? I want to make sure the room is right, you know? Get a read on it.
We'll get there in time.
But there's another thing or two I need to show Chase before we go. Everyone meet outside the practice room in about 10 minutes. That should be enough time.
I really need to get packed. Need any help? Sure, Spew. You can help me.
The two left, followed by Altsoba, who I assumed was going to join Aya. Dalton shrugged after everyone was gone.
Nothing to pack?
I already told you, I travel light. What you see is what you get with me, honey.
The man, made of dark, with just a hint of human form inside, spun, his arms out, tendrils of shadow fading away.
See you in 10. See you in 10.
Once Dalton was gone, Iris and I left the new practice room, Iris heading toward the recently remodeled dojo.
I wanted to make sure that no one ever attacked our dojo again, so I splurged a little. Of course, this was before I knew that we were pretty much rich, but it's still worth it, and it should definitely protect the place.
You know, I was thinking a bit more about our fusion center. We haven't really used that much, but I was wondering if there was an add-on.
What kind of add-on?
A duplicator of sorts.
Go on.
Show me your thing first, and then I will tell you my idea.
I have a feeling of where you're going with this.
We circled around the dojo, past a small sitting area with a circular garden surrounding it. Translucent butterflies dipped in and out of the garden, their wings fluttering.
In 10.
Once Dalton was gone, Iris and I left the new practice room.
I added this too. A place for the mythcrea to relax outside.
It's awesome.
And the other side has a fire pit.
Iris nodded up at the guard tower. It had two parts to it, a top part for observation and a bottom part for what I assumed was check-in. Mitchell, one of the trolls that we'd captured in Brooklyn, approached us. I could see his counterpart, Schnoogles, working his way down the ladder of the guard tower. "How goes it?" I asked the... The troll had already started scratching his ass. Okay, I can't remember which one is Mitchell and which one's Schnoogles, so I have to go look that up. About the voice changes, it really depends, but 99.9% of it is just my voice. Okay, let's see here. Oops, fuck. Mitchell and Schnoogles. I like both of their voices. Right. Nope. Okay, end of chapter 1. Chapter 1. And she shouted,
Now!
And swung her sword, causing a horizontal mushroom cloud that quickly burst into flames as it hit the troll's body. He cried out and sailed to the ground, where he rolled around, trying to put the flames out. By the time he got to his feet, Aya held her sword at his back, and Lady C had her two blades, one still on fire, at the front. With a terrible growl, the dirty troll took a knee.
Fine!
He said in a surprisingly high voice.
I give up. My name is Mitchell, by the way.
Iris spun around and tossed the net of light at the troll. He was gone in a flash. "What's with the cool spin?" I asked Iris, a grin creeping across my face.
Just... Sorry. I was just...
One still on fire at the front. With a terrible growl, the dirty troll took a knee.
Fine!
He said in a surprisingly high voice.
I give up. My name is Mitchell, by the way.
I think that's Scottish.
My name is Mitchell, by the way.
All right, schnoogles. He's probably going to have a deeper voice. Oh, he's in chapter 1 as well. He's just a little bit before this.
The troll's thigh. Lady C stepped out and Aya stepped in, moving past the Matikan warrior with her giant. This time I took the first line and Iris the second line. But troll number 2 wasn't buying it. And around this time, I saw the glint of Aya's buster sword directly behind the troll. From there, my eyes jumped to Lady C's weapons, also slightly reflective in the moonlight. I exchanged glances with Iris, and she shouted,
Now!
The troll responded by flinging his club at Aya, who met it with her big blade.
I love how
As he
stupid
did
this
so,
song is.
I saw Iris lower her instrument and return with a charged hand.
Thanks for asking.
Who had a
My
jagged
name is
little sword,
Snoogles.
singing. Of idiot bards, Iris
I hear this one more time.
brought out her ukulele case. Bringing the instrument up to her ear, she very quietly checked its tuning. We messaged back and forth about the key we should play the song in, and after a muted practice run, we both stood. I started strumming a little intro, nothing too hard, and something easy to play as I was walking toward the two trolls. Naturally, they looked over at us, and as soon as they did, Iris started singing. I sang it with her the second time around, just as she started playing a ukulele part. The two trolls grunted, looked at each other, and stood. Both of them held clubs, and the one on the left also had a jagged little sword. Like a pair of idiot bards, Iris and I kept singing, upping our performance as we grew familiar with the repetitive song. The first troll stepped forward, growled, and dropped to one knee. We stopped playing immediately.
My name is Snoogles.
Okay, got it. Oh, man. All right, back at it.
His ass.
Snoogles. Mitchell. Snoogles. Thinking about painting the guard tower.
Mitchell said with a grunt. By all means. He looked up at his counterpart.
Snoogles has taken a liking to the top of the tower. I think he likes to fiddle with himself up there.
Fiddle? Mitchell made the gesture for jacking off. I looked to Iris, who had already started to laugh. I looked to Iris, who had already started to laugh. I mean, I guess that is as good of a place as any. I watched as Schnoogles jumped to the ground rather than take the last 4 rungs of the ladder. He adjusted his breeches, smoothed his hand over his long, matted hair, and joined us.
Alpha,
The second troll said. Gentlemen, I have a plan for both of you, or at least one of you. Something more fun than watching the paint dry on a wall. Mitchell looked at me suspiciously for a moment.
More fun than watching paint dry, huh?
That's right, and I'll tell you more about it later.
Come with me.
Iris said. Iris nodded to the ladder that Schnoogles had just come from.
It'll make more sense from up here.
I was just up there. I was just up there.
Schnoogles grumbled.
You don't have to come,
She said over her shoulder. I saw exactly what Iris was so excited to show me once we made it to the top. I could also
You don't have to come.
I could also see that Schnoogles had been spending way too much time up here. All sorts of discarded food, clothing, and Troll Holes magazines scattered about the place. I didn't know exactly what Troll Holes was, but I wasn't going to pick one of... I didn't know exactly what Troll Holes was, but I wasn't going to pick up one of the magazines to find out.
I will tell him to clean it up.
Iris had a disgusted look on her face. No, trolls will be trolls. I returned my focus to the giant, semi-transparent serpent that was now wrapped around the perimeter of our dojo.
Anyway, I give you our world serpent. In Norse mythology, it is known as a Jormungandr.
I'm going to have to look that up. Jormungandr?
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of the Midgard serpent in Norse mythology. We are looking at how to pronounce Jormungandr.
All right, I got it pretty much right. Mitchell is Muppet Gary Furlong. I think that is accurate.
Under.
So, basically a giant snake that runs the perimeter of our wall, huh? I was impressed. I nodded, impressed by the sleeping beast. I like it.
And it is impossible to attack our dojo while the snake is active. Now, we don't want to actually have a snake as wide as a city bus wrapped around the place, which is why it's semi-transparent. It only becomes tangible if an enemy approaches.
And it goes all the way back to the meadow?
It circles our entire space, and if we ever add more space, it will circle that part as well.
The serpent was thicker than a city bus, and as I stared out at it, I saw it had two huge yellow eyes that were staring back at me. Its forked tongue flitted out of its mouth as it looked at me curiously. I love it! Definitely creepy, but I love it.
I'm glad you like it. Now, what is this idea that you seem so excited to tell me about?
You can tell. I ran my hand through my hair.
I know you pretty well.
That's right.
You have that look on your face like you have just come up with a seriously cool riff and you're dying to show me.
Okay, here it is. I explained my troll idea to Iris. She started to laugh almost immediately. She started to laugh almost immediately.
To be clear, you want to see if we can add something to the fusion center that duplicates mythcrea. You then want to duplicate Mitchell or Schnoogles and have the clones, as a troll army, constantly attack William's dojo. What? It's not a good idea? To be clear, you want dojo.
Around the clock troll assault. The trolls will never stop. I had a big shit-eating grin plastered across my face.
What if he gets a world serpent?
There are ways around it. There have to be.
I suppose you could just continue sending trolls. Eventually, it would be overwhelming.
Exactly.
I can't believe I'm agreeing to this.
Why not? That guy was an asshole, and I really don't have time to keep dealing with his crap. So we just create a troll army, and whenever... So we just create a troll army, and wherever William goes or whatever he does, there is the army.
Somehow I don't think Kingdom Lume authorities are going to like this idea.
Probably not, but you know who will like it even less?
Who?
William.
Okay, we'll see about upgrading our fusion center later.
Iris moved to the railing again. Iris moved to the railing again, gazing back toward our dojo's field.
But for now, we need to scoot. It looks like Dalton and the others are waiting on us now. We should hurry.
These chapters are huge, Harmon. What the hell happened? Be right back, gonna get more water and more coffee. Sound check was a breeze. The club in the Sana Kingdom, The club in the Sana Kingdom had the biggest stage we had played on yet, much larger than the Midnight Library. The club in the Sana Kingdom had the biggest stage we had played on yet, much larger than the Midnight Library. The crowd was rowdier too, filled with ogres, beastkins, and goblins, which made me question for a moment why Dalton had chosen this bar in the first place. But until we had a manager, it was up to us to book our gigs, and since Iris and I didn't really know anyone aside from the people in our dojo, that role fell to Dalton. We were in the green room now, which was actually a white room, an elven attendant standing in the corner of the room and waiting on us when We were in the green room now, which was actually a white room, an elven attendant. We were in the green room now, which was actually a white room, an elven attendant standing in the corner of the room and waiting on us when need be. As usual, Dalton was smoking on something, each inhale visible as the smoke filled his body. He had already offered some to us, but after the last time, both Iris and I declined. Spew Gorge got down on some of it, the fashionable goblin coughing after his first hit.
Boy, Fick! That's the real deal right there. Fick. I'm tripping balls over here. Kidding. Phew. But we do need some fickin' food in here. Where's the food?
Food isn't normally provided, but I can provide potions and other assorted healing beverages.
These fickers in sauna.
Spew Gorge said under his breath, eyes...
These fickers in sauna.
Spew Gorge said under his breath, his eyes dilated.
It's no wonder my uncle is staying in Kingdom Ignis. He's a fickin' sucker for healing potions. That's why he's so fat. And where do you think those potions come from? Right the fick here. They sure pack a lot of processed sugars, carbs, saturated fat, and all sorts of shit that leads to various diabetes and other ficked up heart-related illnesses. It's a fickin' tragedy how much these Kingdom sauna potion manufacturers got Tritanium goblins by the balls. They bought up Cherry Apollos and Hopkins years ago. Shit's a fickin' monopoly, and it should be illegal.
Enough, Goblin. Goblins have free will in Titania, do they not? It is their choice to consume these beverages.
Spoken like a true fickin' lizard who is out of touch with a fickin' health crisis. Spoken like a true fickin' lizard who is out of touch with a fickin' health crisis.
Oh, damn it.
But whatever. And Fick, if my uncle could see me right now, he never liked ink shadows. And here I am getting high with one.
Times they are a-changin'. What did an ink shadow ever do to your uncle?
For one, a shadow fickin' took his arm. That's why my uncle has a brass arm now. Another one, or maybe the same one, fick if I know, also turned his hair pink. He's tried to dye it. Nope, it's pink for good. And if he shaves it, it grows back in like 2 days. Still pink. Fick.
Humorous.
Dalton's body filled with smoke. Dalton's body filled with smoke.
I'm guessing he was betting against one, wasn't he?
Yep.
Ink shadows can be very, very competitive when it comes to placing bets.
Fickin' tell me about it.
That's why I only make bets with the skinwalker.
Damn it.
Thick. That's why I only make bets with the skinwalker. Skinwalker.
Not a bad decision.
Aya and Altsoba were matching. Aya and Altsoba wore matching black dresses. They looked incredible. Aya's hair up in a top knot, Altsoba adjusting her already dark skin tone to the same color as her dress, which wasn't quite Vanta black, but wasn't far off, only the whites of her eyes visible at the moment. Lady C also wore a dress, hers showing off her bosom in a way that was definitely going to catch some eyes. She was seated on the armrest next to me, occasionally dropping her hand on my shoulder.
Remember, just keep the groove going, and we should be fine.
You know, we really could benefit from a drummer.
Maybe one day. I like percussion, but I like the flexibility with having no drums. No one telling us what to do. Step in time, boy. Keep to the beat, boy. But let that beat go, boy. Let it find its own rhythm. Maybe one day. I like percussion, but I like the flexibility with having no drums. No one telling us what to do. Step in time, boy. Keep to the beat, boy. But let that beat go, boy. Let it find its own rhythm.
A short halfling with a neckbeard stepped into the room to let us know we were on in 5 minutes. He did so without saying a word, simply flashing the number 5 at us with his fingers.
We'll see you out there. We'll see you out there. Do not disappoint us,
Aya said as she shuffled out. Aya shuffled out, holding hands with Altsoba. Lady C and Spew Gorge followed them, the goblin telling the Matikan warrior that he could definitely play drums, just in case anyone was asking. The goblin telling the Matikan warrior. Lady C and Spew Gorge followed them. Gorge followed them.
Hey, you know, guys, I can play the frickin' drums.
Gorge followed them.
Hey, you know, guys, I can play the frickin' drums. Just in case anyone was asking.
Spew Gorge followed them.
Hey, you know, guys, I can play the frickin' drums. Just in case anyone was asking.
Gorge followed them.
Hey, you know, guys, I can play the frickin' drums. Just in case anyone was asking.
Gorge followed them.
Hey, you know, guys, I can play the frickin' drums. Just in case anyone was asking. One was asking. One was asking.
It should be a pretty wild show, and an even better after party.
After party? After party? After party?
Iris had been stretching the new strings on her ukulele for the last few minutes, checking the tuning, quietly going through a few riffs.
Oops.
An after party?
Iris had been...
Oh, we are on a mini tour,
Dalton told her. Dalton floated up to a standing position.
It's our first time out of our own kingdom, so we're going to make a thing of it. And we've got a gig in Ignis tomorrow night as well. So, a party is inevitable. After that, who knows? But once we start getting the following, once we press a record, the sky is the limit.
You want to record a record? I exchanged shrugs with Iris.
Why the hell not, rich man? You got the money now. Let's get some productions going. Good tax write-off, too, but I've just heard that... Good tax write-off, too. I've just heard that. Can't confirm it. All we would have to do is add a little studio to that practice room of ours. You've got the cash to fund some promotion, too. We could get on some pretty big gigs. Maybe even a few of those hollow concerts your world puts on in here.
I looked to Iris, trying to see what was going through her mind as she listened to Dalton's pitch. She seemed interested, evident in the way that she smiled at me and nodded. Sure. Let's look into recording a record.
Fantastic. Okay. This energy going around the room now. These positive, good vibes. Let's get out there and wow these people.
My bass now flung over my shoulder, and Iris carrying her ukulele, we followed Dalton to the side of the stage, where we peeked out to see that the place was packed. It was loud, too, raucous, the place reeking of booze, the combination of all these different creatures and their voices much louder than anything I had heard from the crowd before. My bass now flung over my shoulder, and Iris carrying her ukulele, we followed Dalton to the side of the stage, where we peeked out to see that the place was packed. It was loud. Louder than anything I had heard from the crowd before. Regardless, and feeling just a few butterflies starting to flutter around in my stomach, I took the stage, Iris following me out. We bowed, a few people clapped, and then we started up. I adjusted some settings on my dashboard while I continued to play a low, rumbling note, eventually hitting the crowd with a subsonic boom that got some real attention. Seeing what I was up to, Iris started tweaking with her settings as well, even as she strummed her ukulele. This was one of the benefits of playing a concert in the Proxima Galaxy. I could literally be playing a run while I was simultaneously adjusting its sound, bringing up the bass or the mids, adding some reverb, slapping some delay on that last note, looping a 4-bar pattern. And it was about that time, as Iris and I were getting the crowd's attention, that Dalton waltzed out onto the stage, now wearing a crown, which made no sense because I didn't think his body was tangible. Still, he looked cool, and he looked even cooler when he turned his back to the crowd, the ink shadow dancing to the music as he threw his arms out. A wave of smoke hit the stage and spread out to the back of the venue.
We're Dalton and the Alpha Duo.
He sang into a mic, also made of smoke.
And we're here to rock your socks off. Rock your socks off. Rock your socks off. I don't wear bloody socks!
An angry voice shouted from the crowd. No need to say that. And as light as a fall breeze, Dalton danced over to the corner of the stage to see who had shouted this. Once he spotted the ogre, he brought the mic back to his lips and sang,
This poor young fool missed out on school. He lost his vibe and he lost his tribe. A sockless puppet, a buck-toothed fool. Too bad this cat won't never be cool.
A few in the crowd laughed. Iris looked over at me and cringed at the rhyme that was so bad that it was kind of, well, cool. Iris looked. The ogre grew angry and threw his drink at Dalton, the liquid simply going through him. Cool. The ogre grew.
Easy everyone, easy everyone, easy everyone.
Dalton sang as he danced back a bit, still entertaining the crowd, definitely in his element. While the intro had been a little shaky, the rest of the concert, or at least most of it, went pretty smoothly. While the intro had been a little shaky, the rest of the concert, or at least most of it, went pretty smoothly. It didn't take more than a few seconds for Iris and me to find our groove, considering how much time we had practiced together in the past. There was a keyboard on stage as well, and Iris played this occasionally, especially on some of the slower, improvised pieces that we had cooked up. Everything was going well until the same ogre from earlier, the one that had shouted about socks, leapt onto the stage. Out of the blue, too. Out of the blue. One moment, we were jamming along, coming back to what was essentially the improvised chorus of a smooth ballad, and the next moment, the ogre was on the stage. And the next moment, the ogre was on the stage with his big club, spikes jutting out of it.
You shouldn't have done that,
Dalton said, growing 3 times in size, a darkness spreading across his form that I'd never seen before. But this only riled up the crowd even more, other ogres and goblins now jumping onto the stage. And this is action scene time. My first instinct was to exit stage left, but then I remembered that my instrument was also a weapon. So I aimed it at an approaching troll, mentally adjusted the reverb, and fired off a shot, the staggered blast sending the troll back into the crowd below and cutting a path through it. All hell broke loose. Iris and I started firing on the crowd with our instruments, Dalton doing some of his ink shadow attacks from zipping people. Dalton doing some of his ink shadow attacks, from zipping into people's minds to casting smoky spells. It took me a few blasts to see what I and Lady C were up to, but eventually I saw a swath of ice cut through part of the crowd, exploding on contact. My eyes fell upon Lady C, both blades drawn, Aya next to her, her big buster sword parked on her shoulder. As soon as the 2 huntresses made their presence known, the fight turned toward them. And that's when another Aya appeared at the other end of the crowd, this one also wielding a buster sword, in the same black dress. Yes, one of them was definitely the skinwalker known as Altsoba. And if I'd had more time to watch them, I would have likely been able to figure out which was... Yes, one of them was definitely the skinwalker known as Altsoba, and if I'd had more time to watch them, I would have likely been able to figure out which was which, but a small goblin had jumped onto me and was biting at my leg. Unclipping the strap, I brought the body of my guitar onto his head. Wham! Bam!
Vic!
The goblin's voice was 2 octaves lower than it should have been.
Vic! Yoy! Vic!
Spewgorge slipped onto the stage, saw an ogre crawling toward Iris, and jumped on him, knifing the ogre in the back of his head, blood spritzing the air. I saw a burst of musical light come from Iris's side of the stage. The beam of energy took out the largest ogre in the room, slicing his arm right off as he charged the stage. Iris lowered her weapon, her ukulele, and made her way over to me.
Did you see that last one?
A crazed yet ironic look was in her eyes. Iris had a crazed yet ironic look in her eyes. It was awesome!
Chorus plus flange plus full distortion. Crank it to 11.
Duly noted. We should probably get out of here, though. I'm going to go ahead and say that... Duly noted. We should probably get out of here, though. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is definitely not a good look for us.
Yeah, let's go.
She grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the side stage. We circled around a dead ogre and made it to relative safety behind a curtain. Spew Gorge eventually joined us, blood all over his clothing, a grin on his face.
Fick yeah! I haven't been at a concert this fictacular since the last Jotlapalooza. Fick! These Kingdom Sauna crowds are ficked. No need for an after party when you can play gigs like this.
He wiped blood from his eyes. Yeah, I gave the goblin a funny look. Let's just hope that we don't get arrested or something.
Get arrested?
Dalton asked, the ink shadow now standing behind us. He startled me, and I nearly turned around and hit him with my bass before stopping just in time.
Get arrested? Oh, easy, Chase. Concerts in this neck of the woods can get a little out of hand. You knew that, right?
How would I know that?
There are so many healing potions available in sauna that people take risks they wouldn't take in other places.
Oh.
There are so many healing potions available in sauna that people take risks they wouldn't take in other places. Fick, half the people we have already cut down are probably healed up by now, or on their way to being healed up. That's just how fickin' events go here.
I wish you would have told us that before the concert started.
And spoil the fun? You would have known it was coming, and then it wouldn't have been spontaneous. Nope, I'm all vibes. You know that about me by now. And if you know the vibes that are coming, and you can't react to them naturally, it's forced. And I don't like music that's forced. I don't like vibes that are controlled.
It's a bloodbath out there. It's a bloodbath out there.
Lady C stormed through the side curtain. Both her blades were held at her sides, the Matikan warrior ready to launch back into the fray if need be.
Definitely is. But the gig is over now, so let's get to the hotel. Who wants to go get Aya?
Which fickin' one? Last I saw, there were 2 lizards out there skewering concert goers.
Both. And since you volunteered, why don't you go? Besides, you can blend in the best with the crowd.
Fickin' fick!
Spew Gorge threw his hands in the air. Spew Gorge threw his hands in the air. Spew Gorge threw his hands in the air and turned back to the stage.
I'll do my fickin' best. But if the real Thulian is down, I'm leaving her fickered green tush behind. And watch it with the racism, Alpha. Just because I'm a goblin doesn't mean I blend in with those fictards out there. Fick!
Dress. Yes, one of them was definitely the skinwalker known as Alt-Soba, and if I'd had more time to watch them, I would have likely been able to figure out which was which, but a small goblin had jumped onto me and was biting at my leg. Unclipping the strap, I brought the body of my guitar onto his head. Wham!
Fick!
The goblin's voice was 2 octaves lower than it should have been.
Fick! Yoy! Fick!
Spew Gorge slipped onto the stage, saw an ogre crawling toward Iris, and jumped on him, knifing the ogre in the back of his head, blood spritzing the air. All right. And... All right. I think that's going to be our show for today. We made it through another 10%, it looks like. Yep. It's 11:52. And yeah, that will be it. So tomorrow I have one more cold read for this book. It'll be at the same time, 10 a.m. So watch out for notifications. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you were really interested in what's going on here and you'd never listened to Monster Hunt NYC before, check all the links in the description of this YouTube video. You can find Book 1 on our website on soundbooththeater.com. You can buy it for $7.99. Super cheap. And you can listen to it through our app. We're hoping to get this one out in December. We'll see how well we can get that done. This is... it's always a big project, Monster Hunt, because we have to do so much music and sound effects and everything, but we may be able to do it. Annie's going to be in charge of the actual music direction and all that, so she'll at least be taking care of that while I work on Everybody Loves Large Chests. And, I've already, as you've seen, I've already been taking care of the sound effect notes, so all Ahmed has to do is read that stuff, take care of that. But we'll see. We'll see how long it takes. Again, tomorrow, 10 a.m., Central. I'm doing the last cold read for this book. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you had a good time. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Later.